and try to figure out where do you stand as far as your personality is concerned. And from action, how can you project your personality for getting recommended. So let me tell you that both the tasks are as important as others. So there is no special importance given to any type of task. And once you hear the story, there will be a few problems in the story. Hello my dear SSB aspirants. So what I have in mind is to tell you a few points about the GTO technique. So what is this GTO technique all about and how is it different from the other two techniques that you go? Interview technique. One of the most common ways for people to get selected in any corporate organization is the way of personal interview. So a lot of experience, a lot of ways, a lot of input is there from people when they are dealing with a personal interview. Similarly, psychology, there are a lot of psychological methods by which you can understand your own psychology. There are various tools available in the general market which you can use to understand your personality and try to figure out where do you stand as far as your personality is concerned. But one of the most unique ways of testing your personality is the GTO technique. And this technique, let me assure you, is only available in the defense forces, maybe all across the world. But still, it remains a very unique method of understanding about a personality. So let me tell you a brief history as to how this GTO technique all started. So when we got the independence, at that time, we didn't have the GTO technique as such. It was only interview and psychology. And people were supposed to be recommended by that method. During that time, World War II had just happened, and Germany was the country where people were getting recommended using the GTO technique. The same thing was adopted by the British forces. Surprising, they were both at war, but still they used this method. And then there was a person, the guru of the GTO technique, a person called Henry Harris. And he was the person who said that yes, for the defense forces, you need to have a slightly different method of understanding the personality. And therein the GTO technique was developed. And this was developed in such a way that it is more akin to a war-like situation which a soldier is likely to encounter when he is facing the enemy. So with that in mind, the GTO technique started developed and we incorporated the tasks that we have today. So initially there were different kinds of tasks. So finally, as of today, in the GTO series, we have 9 in number tasks which has to be gone through for understanding the personality from the GTO point of view. So in the process of personality assessment of Mansa, Vacha and Karmana, the GTO forms the Karmana part of the whole assessment technique. And what Karmana means is a Sanskrit word which explains as to action. So by action, how one can understand the personality from the assessor point of view, and from action, how can you project your personality for getting recommended. So that is the basis and the thought process by which the assessor is assessing you, and that is what the aspirants should have in mind when they are trying to explain to the assessor as to that is how my personality is there and doing the 9 tasks. So basically, broadly, the GTO technique comprises of 2 types of tasks. One are the indoor tasks and one are the outdoor tasks. So let me tell you that both the tasks are as important as others. So there is no special importance given to any type of task. It deals with different parts of the personality in different ways. One is more cognitive, the indoor task. The other is much more practical oriented, the outdoor task, with a fair mixture of seeing your physical fitness. So unlike in the other techniques, in the corporate world or otherwise, GTO techniques tries to understand the personality holistically. And that is the uniqueness of this system. And many times, this is where a lot of candidates find it difficult to understand, especially those people who don't know much about the whole SSB technique. And once they land up there in front of the GTO, that is the time the whole GTO task hit them, and then they realize, oh my God, what is all this which is happening out here? And how do I deal with this kind of situation? Because many of the situations that you are likely to face in the GTO task are very, very new to you. So for that, you will have to understand a few basic ways as to how to deal with the GTO task, which I will come to it at a later. But let me at this point of time explain to you the various tasks that you are likely to encounter when you are faced with the GTO task. So the first thing that you are going to do when you come in the morning of the GTO 1 day, that is the 3rd day of the whole 5-day selection process, is that you are going to meet the GTO right early in the morning. It could be 5:30, 6 o'clock if it is summertime, and maybe half an hour later if it is winter time in the various places that the SSBs are there. So your job starts from there. So understand what the briefing the GTO gives. Thereafter, you are taken to a set of chairs which are arranged in a circle, and you are made to sit there. And then the first task starts, which is called as the group discussion. Basically, a set of 2 discussions of 20 minutes each, one after the other. In the first discussion, you are given a choice of 2 topics. The group has to choose one topic, thereafter discuss it for 20 minutes, and once this is over, there is a second topic, this time no choice. Again, you have to speak for 20 minutes. It could be topics in the social field, in the current affairs, or generally what is happening in the world or what's happening in India. Once this is over, you go on to the second task, which is called as the group planning exercise, or the GPE. Basically, here there is a military model, not a military model, a model which is there. The GTO will explain to you the model. Thereafter, a story will be told about the model. And once you hear the story, there will be a few problems in the story. So first, you will have to work out your own individual solutions to the problems which are there in the story. Thereafter, mutually discuss among yourself and try to come to a consensus as to how you want to solve the problems. And at the end of the discussion that you have, no matter who, one of you has to explain whatever the whole group has decided, the agreed group solution. So once this task is over, then the third task comes in, which is an outdoor task. Till now you have been sitting and talking. The third task will be an outdoor task called the progressive group task, or the PGT. And every task, let me tell you gentlemen, is very unique. It requires a separate set of things to be done and not done, so that you can showcase yourself correctly. So my endeavor would be to teach you as to how to tackle each of the tasks in detail in my coming videos. So thank you very much for listening to me. Meet you next time. Thank you.